Hey everybody, welcome to Money's No Object. I'm your host, Dylan Howell. This is episode number 312 of our YouTube channel and podcast, and I could not be more excited to continue sharing with you guys personal finance topics that I think can be useful for you in your long-term financial journey. Today, we are going to be talking about men and women investing. Now, there are many places in the world where people say, hey, men just have an advantage, or, it's unfair that men get to do this and women can, or women don't get to do this in the same way that men do, or whatever, right? But you're going to be pretty surprised to find out that investing is not one of those places, and investing is one of those places where women are actually catching up to men quite quickly and then outperforming them in many, many ways. So stick around for a discussion of all this and more and what this means for our investing life in today's episode. Before we get started though, if you could go down below, hit the big red subscribe button, like this video, leave me any feedback in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to respond to anything you leave down there. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify podcasts, be sure to subscribe and leave me a review on either one of those platforms. Follow me on social media at MNO with Dylan, and that's really good supplemental materials to all the things I'm putting out in these long form episodes on YouTube and the podcast every single day. And then if you need somebody to help you to build a financial plan and keep you accountable to that plan over the long term, then I can do that. Just DM me on any of the major social media sites and tell me that you are interested in financial coaching sessions, and you and I can begin working together, pushing towards your long-term financial goals and ultimately pushing on towards long-term financial freedom, which is what I hope for every single individual watching or listening to this show on a day-to-day basis. Now, men and women are different in many ways. It's hard to deny that men and women have different preferences. Men and women do things in a different way most of the time, right? But both men and women, they need to invest, right? They need to be investors, right? And they need to understand money. They need to know how to deal with their money. I want to speak to all genders, races, ethnicities, cultures, everything. I want to speak to everyone, right? And I want you to understand that I am just on the side of us all winning financially. And something you may be surprised to know is that women are winning financially, especially in the field of investing. Now, although many women lack investing confidence, their portfolios still, so they have been in the past, outperform their male counterparts according to Fidelity Investments 2021 Women and Investing Study. On average, women investors achieve positive returns and surpass men by 40 basis points. Okay, so this means 40 basis points would be 0.4%. 100 basis points is 1%. Okay, so they surpass men's returns by 40 basis points or 0.4%. An analysis of annual performance across 5.2 million accounts from January 2011 to December of 2020 shows, right? So that's a 10-year return horizon, and women were beating men by 0.4%. And you may say, well, 0.4%, doesn't seem like much on an annualized basis. But if you just did the math, let's just say we looked at a 10% return versus a 9.6% return. Okay, so let's just say I wanted to take the future value at 10% over 40 years of just an initial investment of $10,000. Okay, I would have $452,592.56. Okay, so pretty good return over a 40-year period. Now, if I wanted to do that, right, I want to do that same math, but let's say instead of a 10% rate of return, it is a 9.6% rate of return. Okay, so we do that math, and you end up with $391,221.01. Right, so what you end up with here is a $61,000 approximately difference between a 10% rate of return and a 9.6% rate of return on a $10,000 initial investment, right? So that's pretty substantial, right? That when you talk about a percentage of the total value, right? When you talk about a percentage of that 391, right? That's an extra 15% plus on top of that 391 that you could have made by simply making 4 more basis points annually over that 40-year period, right? So it's substantial. It's substantial to make 4 basis points better annually over a longer period of time. Now, this was only 10 years that this study looked at, but if you extrapolate that into 20, 30, 40 years, you can see some really big differences. Now, it demonstrates that women are great investors, and when they take action, it can work out quite well for them. Okay. And the reasons why this is, I think, are intriguing. But we'll continue on. The latest findings align with the company's past research showing women may outshine men with a buy and hold investment strategy versus frequent trading, which tends to stunt performance over time. Now, this, let's just stop right here for a second. Obviously, we know that buy and hold outperforms very frequent trading because frequent trading, there's traditionally been more costs associated with it, but now it leads to this short-term mindset and not allowing your money to grow in the way that it could over a longer period of time. Now, women have also made strides beyond retirement accounts, with 2/3 now investing extra savings outside of emergency funds. This is a 50% increase since 2018. With earnings increasing for women, so we're talking about income earnings, right? The momentum to invest outside of retirement had already begun in 2018. However, the pandemic may have sped up some of these shifts. While the crisis caused unprecedented financial challenges for many women, it also sparked motivation. There's been a 43% year-over-year increase in women opening new Fidelity investment accounts since last summer, and a 37% uptick in women reaching out for guidance over the past 2 years. Now, let's not get it twisted. This is substantial. Now, I know that there's been a catalyst that pushes us towards this, right? The pandemic obviously pushes us towards this, but this is super substantial, right? 43% year-over-year change in the number of women opening Fidelity investment accounts, and then a 37% uptick in reaching out for guidance. I mean, this is just, it's a lot, right? These are a lot of people who are deciding, hey, I'm going to get in on this whole investing idea, okay? Now, all of these factors together, they really provided the right foundation for this type of necessary change, right? You get the pandemic, you get women making more money. It all kind of plays together. Moreover, 9 in 10 women are ready to take proactive steps over the next 12 months, the findings show, with 62% eager to boost their knowledge of financial planning and investing. Now, this kind of works together with what we talked about in yesterday's episode. If you'll remember, in yesterday's episode, we talked about single people, right? We were talking about single people versus people who had partners and how single people aren't doing as well financially, but there may be many reasons why that is, right? But what this may be is women who are making money for themselves and they're trying to do the best they can and they're trying to learn how to do finances on their own, right? And again, us being in this generation where we're having to come up with it ourselves, right? We're having to invest for ourselves. We don't have pensions. We don't have, the promise of Social Security 40 years from now, right? So we have to come up with it. And I think these women are taking it into their own hands. These maybe single women who have good first jobs or good jobs in general, they're trying to learn more about finances and become good investors themselves, right? 62% eager to boost their knowledge of financial planning and investing. I think that's fantastic, right? And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you to increase your knowledge of financial planning and investing. So those 62%, check out my show, check out my channel, check out the podcast, right? Now, while the findings show that women have made progress, only 1/3 feel confident in their ability to make investment decisions, which I think is so interesting, right? We talked about it a little while ago, right? Women, they're good when they do this buy and hold type investing, okay? They're buying something, they hold it for a long period of time. Now, this does not necessarily mean that they have the most investing knowledge or investing prowess out there, right? But something that has long been said about women and is 100% true over the empirical data, this is not me making a off-the-cuff statement, this is fact, right, is that women tend to have more of a long-term viewpoint. Women, they do seek security with money, right? This is truth. And so if women are seeking security with money, and if your wife is anything like mine, this is true, right? Then they want to do something that is going to provide sustainable long-term returns. And buy and hold investing actually does that, right? Sustainable long-term returns, especially investing in things like index funds. Okay, so they can make great investment decisions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they think that they make great investment decisions. They think that they need to do more. They think that they need to, invest in a way that is fancy. And I've told you guys many times, you can be an extremely successful investor and never invest in a single stock. Right? You can be an extremely successful investor and never invest in any type of individual security at all. Right? You can just buy index funds and buy index funds and buy index funds and do nothing interesting. Right? Nothing fun, nothing crazy. And you can be an outstanding investor if you are constantly putting money away to do so. Now, What's worse here is that many women have too much cash outside of their emergency fund and could be missing out on potential growth. Now, this speaks to women typically wanting that security, right? Security tends to be found with all of us, right? Tends to be found in cash, right? We find security in having cash and having money in the bank, right? And this is saying that many women have too much money outside of emergency savings, okay? Which means that they're not putting it to work. They're not investing it. But if they did, think about if they did that, and they're already better investors than the men as far as rate of return goes, right? We could see a ton of extra growth in the wealth of women. This is just going to take some simple decision making, and I think what it takes ultimately is just an understanding of some investment principles, an understanding of why you need to put your money to work. Right? Inflation's a reason that you want to put your money to work. That's something that we're dealing with right now. And that, we always deal with some form of inflation, right? You want to put your money to work because you want to grow your money over time. You don't want your money to just remain stagnant and decrease in purchasing power, right? We are seeing a lot of money still on the sidelines. And that's very encouraging because, first of all, it's encouraging that people have money to invest. All right. I think that something that is discouraging is when people do not have the money to invest. But when the money's out there that can be invested, that's very, very encouraging, right? So I think we should look on that with some positivity, right? Because all that has to be done is the knowledge has to be gained and the decision has to be made to move that money from a checking account or a savings account into an investing account. That's all that has to happen, right? We're not talking about saying you need to make more money in order to do this, that, and the other, or you need to save more money in order to do this, that, and the other. That's already done, right? These women have already done this thing. They've already saved this money, right? They've already made this money and put it aside, right? They're doing the proper financial things. There's just one extra step that they should take. And when they take this step, boy, could their and will their net worths grow? Will their ability to build wealth over a long period of time grow? It absolutely will. Now, indeed, nearly half of women reported keeping $20,000 or more in savings on top of emergency reserves, and significant percentages are holding cash in excess of $50,000 or $100,000. Again, this goes back to the security thing, right? They think, okay, this is a place where, okay, I know I'm going to have this money. This money's here. I don't want to just put everything out there and invest it, right? But again, if we can have a little more investing knowledge, if we can understand the use of an emergency fund and why money can be set aside for emergencies and how much is proper to set aside for emergencies, and then actually make the right decision to invest everything that's not being set aside for emergencies or some expense that's going to be needed in the next 3 to 5 years, then I think we are going to be just astounded at women's ability to build wealth over a long period of time. Now, women want a more active approach, but misconceptions about investing may be holding them back. For example, the study reported that 70% of women believe they need to know more about picking individual stocks. No, you do not, right? You do not need to know more about picking individual stocks. You need to keep doing what you're doing, right? Other than keeping so much money in cash, obviously, right? That is the thing that's holding you back from making all the returns that you could make. But percentage-wise, keep doing what you're doing. Keep investing in the things that you invest in, right? You think that it's, too simple or boring to invest in a 401k, right? Or to put money into a Roth IRA and an index fund. But let me tell you, you are going to be way better off than, Joe Blow over here who's trying to, find the next Apple in, the single stock picking world and doesn't know that much about single stocks and can't do the analysis, doesn't know anything about it. And, or maybe somebody who's trying to day trade or trade options and doesn't know anything about that. And you are doing the right thing. Yes, is it great to gain knowledge? Yes. And is that what I'm trying to help you do every single day? Yes, I'm trying to help you to gain knowledge about investing. Women, men, everyone, right? I'm trying to help you to gain knowledge about investing. Okay. But just because you don't have the utmost knowledge doesn't mean you cannot be an effective investor. Right? Being an effective investor does not mean that you need to know more about picking individual stocks. For you and for most people, it may simply mean that you just need to understand what you're investing in the first place, right? Understand index funds, understand low-cost mutual funds, understand your asset allocation, your diversification, and then past that, just block everything else out and then just put money away aggressively and you will be successful over a long period of time. Now, there's often this self-doubt that comes into play with women, right? And the opportunity for them to continue to normalize the money conversation is there, right? There's this opportunity that they can begin to normalize having this conversation about money, and this not just being a good old boys group that talks about money and talks about investing. That women can be a big part of this conversation and can really, they've already shown that they can outdo the men, right? Men, I think we have gotten too fancy. Right, we've gotten too complicated. Our investing has gotten too convoluted. We're trying to reach for abnormal returns at every chance we get because we all think we're the next Warren Buffett. Or we all think that we're Albert Einstein, or we all think that we're the next Jim Cramer. Most of us aren't, right? The vast majority of us aren't, right? But for some reason, we all think that we can do it. And it turns out we can't. We're losing, right? We are losing in rate of return to women, okay? And that, I'm not saying, hey, we need to beat the women. I'm just saying, shouldn't we make the same rate of return as women makes? What's the difference? The difference is that they're willing to buy boring things and hold them for a long period of time. And we want to buy exciting things and get rid of them quick whenever we can make a gain and get into something else exciting. I would be just thrilled to know the turnover of the things that men purchase versus the things that women purchase. Right? Men versus women stock turnover, or even ETF or mutual fund turnover. Oh my gosh, I'd love to see that number, because my guess, and I think it would be a pretty good one, is that women have far less turnover than men, but that lack of turnover likely turns into greater returns because they're holding good things over a long period of time. Okay. Now, Fidelity Investments 2021 Women in Investing Study, it includes findings from a July nationwide survey of 2,400 adults split evenly between men and women. The investors were at least 21 years old, earning $50,000 or more, and contributing to a workplace retirement plan, right? So these could just be normal people, right? And we're getting these types of findings from this particular study. I think it's amazing that women are becoming a bigger part of this investing conversation. Because it just doesn't make any sense why men should be a bigger part of it. It doesn't make any sense why men should be seen as the investing geniuses and investing knowledge holders, because it's just not true, right? Ultimately, we all have the equal ability to make investing returns, and you could argue, based on this study, that women actually have the temperament and the mindset to make better investing returns than men do, right? And if that's the case, then women, get after it, right? Get after it. And men who think you can invest all great and stuff, maybe bring your wife in on the conversation, right? Maybe let your wife talk about investing a little bit. Maybe let her help, right? Let her give some advice. Let her learn some things and talk about it, and not just dominate it, right? Because let me tell you, she can help you make better decisions than you're making right now. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into the study. Those were some major findings, but I think that as we dig a little deeper into the study, it's just it's really interesting, right? So let's talk about 4 ways that women can be more involved in investing. Okay, so again, 2/3 of women say they'd be more likely to invest or invest more if they had clear steps to do so. Okay, so here are 4 ways to get started. Right? So first off, women, you need to join the conversation, right? Be willing to join the conversation. You are welcome in the conversation, especially with me. You're welcome in this conversation. I want you to talk about investing with me. I want us to learn together, and I want to help you to learn, right? I want you to talk about investing. I want us to all learn together. I want us to gain the knowledge. If you gain the knowledge, then you can actually do, right? Rethink investing at your own pace is the second thing, okay? Ultimately, investing is something that you do need to do at your own pace. You need to learn at your own pace. You need to come to know what's happening in your financial life at your own pace, right? You don't need to let other people push you, okay? But you need to learn how to get started and then continue to work the process, work the plan, whatever you have over a long period of time, right? Then you also need to maximize the opportunity to grow your money. Right? This may mean putting more of your excess cash to work. This may mean investing more. This may mean investing in things that maybe hold a little more risk, right? Because this is something that I haven't even brought up, but I would say that this is probably true, right? Even though women are making better returns than men, I want to know, this is just my interest, what are women investing in and what are men investing in? And what is the risk profile of men versus women? My guess would be that men probably have less risk aversion, a higher tolerance for risk, right? And if we have a higher tolerance for risk, shouldn't we also have higher rates of return, right? And so this is just conjecture. This is just my statement on what I think may be true, right? But if men take more risks, shouldn't they also make more returns? And we're not. Right. So, I think women need to maximize their opportunity to grow their money, because if they invest in things that do have some more risk and, do so in the same way that they would something that may be a little more conservative, they could really maximize the growth of their money over a long period of time, along with their very good saving habits that they already have. And then obviously they need to take advantage of any free guidance that they can get, any guidance that they can find. Obviously, I'm a good resource for you, but there's so many people out there, and financial advisors, investment advisor representatives that do a great job and will help you in order to do this in a proper way. Now, over the last year, right? This is just some more information, right? Fidelity has seen an increasing commitment to saving and investing for the future among its own customers, right? The firm has seen unprecedented growth in women opening new retail investing accounts, right? I said this earlier, 43% year-over-year increase. Women are contributing a record high average of 9.2% to workplace savings accounts. 9.2%. Now, this isn't the 15% that I talk about, but relative to what most people are probably doing, 9.2% is fantastic. Not only is 9.2% fantastic, I'm pretty sure 9.2% in most places will get you your employer match. So women are taking advantage of a lot of free money out there, which is fantastic, right? It's fantastic that you understand that that's free money and you're going out and getting it. Now, there's also been a 37% increase in women taking advantage of Fidelity guidance over the past 2 years, which has accelerated since the onset of the pandemic. This includes calls with financial consultants and the use of online planning tools. Again, getting help is absolutely huge, absolutely paramount when understanding this investing world better. Now, this momentum is expected to continue, right? As 9 in 10 women say that they plan to take additional steps to get engaged within the next 12 months, but they have to get off the sidelines. They have to invest more. While half of women say that they've become more interested in investing since the start of the pandemic, and 42% say that they have more to invest now, just 4 in 10, 41%, say that they're comfortable with their investing knowledge. In fact, if given $25,000 to invest, less than half would know what steps to take to do so. Now, just think about the opportunity there, right? Just think about the opportunity with women, right? You guys have to understand that there's a huge opportunity there, right? You not understanding what to do with $25,000, don't look at that as a bad thing. Just look at it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to learn more, right? And if you learn and become comfortable with investing, then think about how much more money you'll be willing to put to work and how much extra money you'll make on your money over a long period of time, right? Because if you were given $25,000 to invest, let's just talk about this for a moment, women, right? If you were given $25,000 to, and anybody who doesn't understand compound interest, right, I can help you out. But if you were given $25,000 to invest and you invested it over a 40-year period, making a prevailing market rate of return of 10% annually, that's $1.1 million after 40 years. You need to learn how to invest that $25,000, okay? It's an opportunity to become a millionaire over a long period of time. Take it, okay? Understand it, right? This is just another reason that we should all, not just women, right? I'm not calling women out. It's just that's the statistics are on women, right? But we all need to come to a better understanding of how the growth of money works, right? How $25,000 today is not $25,000 10 years from now, right? How money today is worth more than money tomorrow, and how growing our money over a long period of time is so valuable, right? And can become so much larger, right? And that, if we invest money, if you invest money in the stock market, and let's say the stock market on average is making 10% a year, your money's going to double every 7.2 years on average, right? So you think you have a, 40 year, let's say you have a 35-year time period, right? Your money's going to double almost 5 times. Okay, that's very extremely powerful. And if we learn this, we're going to be more willing to put money away and more willing to invest for our futures, right? Furthermore, 70% of women, they believe they would need to learn more about picking individual stocks so they could get started. And 77% that if they had an advisor to help them invest, they would feel better about it. they'd feel more confident about their financial future. It's important to remember that there are many options to get invested, including simple approaches, tools to help choose investments appropriate for one's goals, and abundant help to ensure confident decision making. Look, women, you don't need somebody to hold your hand. I promise. Okay? Especially to get started. To get started, you don't need somebody to hold your hand. And if you do need somebody to guide you along, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide people along in their financial lives, right? So if you need to watch my episodes, if you need to engage in financial coaching, if you need to just learn, right? That's what this channel, that's what this podcast is here for you to learn, for everyone to learn, right? But I am all about women getting more involved here, right? Because you should not, 100% should not be reliant or beholden to a man or anybody, right? For their knowledge about something that you could probably do better, right? And if you could invest better than your husband or than your boyfriend or than whoever, right? Then you need to learn and become better at it, right? If you are better suited to do this, then that's fine. Now, if you're not, I understand that too, right? Heck, in my house, I'm the finance guy. That's okay. But at every chance I get, I am helping my wife to learn, helping my wife to understand, because the more that we can get women involved in this financial world, the more that we can get women involved in investing, the more our money's going to grow, right? We're going to have better rates of return. We're going to make better financial decisions, and we're going to have more holistic thought processes, because I am not naive enough to think that as a very, confident and sometimes, overly just amped up male, right, that I'm always going to make the best decisions in my financial life, right? I would love to have somebody that has a differing point of view, right? And that's what my wife's there for. That's what, having people around you who just have those different points of view, that's why it's useful, right? But men, we could benefit from women. And women, you can benefit from men as well. We could help you as far as taking a little more risk, right? We could help you as far as putting a little more of your money to work, right? We like taking risks. We like putting more money out there, right? But you could help us in not making stupid trading decisions, right? You could help us to not think so short term. You could help us to make better long-term rates of return. You could help us to stop looking at our Robinhood accounts and start just not caring as much in the short term, and just looking at our statements and being able to know that the money's there and letting it grow over a long period of time, right? We could help each other. I think that's what it really comes down to. We could all help each other to become better investors. But women, the thing that we all look for, right, especially men, we're always looking for that rate of return, right? Everybody's looking to make higher rates of return, and for good reason, right? For good reason, because higher rates of return is going to mean more money over a long period of time, right? So we're all trying to make higher rates of return, and you're the one that's making it, right? You're the group that is making higher rates of return. So help us, right? And get involved in your financial life. Get involved in investing. Don't be intimidated, because it's just something that you can learn about, right? It's something that you can be good at. Okay, so take advantage of all of the opportunities and all of the content that's available to you. Okay, now something I do want to end with is to talk about money stress, right? Money has always been a leading stressor for women, and the ability to save enough for future goals such as retirement is high on a women's list of concern, right? More than a third of women admit that they worry about their finances, and that keeps them up at night at least once a month. However, with 9 in 10 women intending to take action with their money within the next year and the increased focus on investing, better sleep may be in their future, right? We're seeing a notable shift in women wanting to learn more, not just about how to start investing, right? But how to dig deeper, how to evaluate and select different types of investments to align with specific goals, and how to manage an existing portfolio to ensure you're invested appropriately and on track. Right? We see time and time again when women do get more engaged and ensure that their money is invested to achieve what's important to them, their stress levels go down, right? When women know their money is working as hard as they do, that's a good thing, right? And it helps them to feel better about their future. And this just goes back to what I talk about all the time. If you know what you own, right? If you understand what's going on in your financial life, if you're just not asleep at the wheel, then your stress level is going to go way down, right? You're going to be awake. You're going to be understanding. You're going to be thoughtful, right? And this is going to help you to sleep better at night. It's going to help you to be more calm, more understanding, right? You're not going to have to freak out about, the market going down 25% because you understand the market, and you're not going to have to freak out about any type of changes in regulation or fluctuations in rules or fluctuations in account values, because you understand what goes on, right? You understand how the market works. Again, knowledge is going to help us to de-stress. Okay, knowledge, and then obviously some people are just antsy people, anxious people, and nervous people. I understand that, right? But ultimately, this stress, this money stress, women, it looks like you're saving plenty of money and you're doing so in the right way. Money stress should not be something on your mind. The only thing I can think of is that you just need to have more of the knowledge, learn more of what goes on in the financial system, and you will be just fine. Look, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how women grow their money moving forward. I want to encourage you to continue to do so. And men, I want to encourage you to take a page out of women's books when it comes to how they invest, how they are patient, how they're thoughtful, how they make long-term decisions and not short-term decisions. They can be an extremely useful asset to us, and they can be an extremely useful asset to the financial world if they will just apply this unique gift that they have that many men don't. Right. But hopefully this just encourages you to get more involved, to learn more. And as we move forward, hopefully it helps men in the discussion of women being involved in this world that is heavily dominated by men. But women are extremely welcome in my book, because I'm trying to make higher rates of return. And if you can show me how, absolutely, let's do it. Okay. So I hope this discussion's been helpful and can just change the way you view money and women and this particular topic in our financial world that is heavily dominated by men, but maybe not for long. So thanks for watching this video. If you could, go down below, hit the big red subscribe button, like this video, leave me any feedback in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to respond to anything you leave down there. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify podcasts, be sure to subscribe and leave me a review on either one of those platforms. Follow me on social media at MNO with Dylan, and that's really good supplemental materials to all the things I'm putting out in these long form episodes on YouTube and the podcast every single day. And then if you need somebody to help you to build a financial plan and keep you accountable to that plan over the long term, then I can do that. Just DM me on any of the major social media sites and tell me that you are interested in financial coaching sessions, and you and I can begin working together, pushing towards your long-term financial goals and ultimately pushing you on towards long-term financial freedom, which is what I hope for every single individual watching or listening to the show on a day-to-day basis. So tune in tomorrow as I continue talking about personal finance topics that I think could be useful for you in your long-term financial journey. So thanks for tuning into this episode of Money's No Object. I'm your host, Dylan Howell. God bless.